pillar that is not only noticed. I take this opportunity to present our presidential flag bearer, the Right Honorable James Nandala Mafabi, a seasoned leader, economist, statistician, with over 20 years of legislation as a member of parliament, an accountant, but also a lawyer, a teacher, an investor, a farmer, an all-round leader. So if you are looking for a leader, you are looking for a leader written his name through service to the country and the world, starting his career at the Ministry of Finance and Economic and Investment in 1988, but now it is Ministry of Finance and Economic Development. And after Minister of Finance, he worked with the Uganda Revenue Authority in the public sector. I can also tell you that while I served with him in Parliament, whenever we were processing the tax laws of this country, the Speaker would not convene Parliament when Nandala Mafabi is not present in the House. He's an authority, and therefore, when we are talking about taxation in this country, we are looking at a consultant, somebody who is coming to resolve tax issues of Uganda. Honorable Nandala joined politics in 2001 and was elected Member of Parliament for Budadiri County West. Given his expertise, he was elected Chairman Parliamentary Committee on National Economy in his first term. Therefore, when he talks about fixing the economy, it is about the experience that he has in that discipline. As Chairperson of Public Accounts Committee in his subsequent term, he demonstrated his skill as the fearless interrogator that showed the importance of opposition-led committees in the fight against corruption. As Chairman, Bugisu Cooperative Union, he has led cooperators in a non-partisan manner, focused more on delivering for an organization that brings together members of all political parties. In all his leadership roles, he has always provided mentorship to people from different walks of life. He is a leader who will wear a necktie to talk and make sense, working at the global stage, but is also comfortable in a pair of shorts, interacting and providing solutions to individuals with limited resources and education. Right Honorable James Nandala Mafabi is competent, without doubt, skilled, experienced, and well prepared to serve as President of Uganda. I want to state that even as President of Uganda for 40 years, when he came to power in 1986, he did not even have half the qualification and expertise that our flag bearer has. If there is anybody who is disputing this, let them step forward and I give them a medal. The only competence he had was the military background, which forced him into power. I therefore have the honor to present the Right Honorable James Nandala Mafabi to all Ugandans and appeal to you to converse, support, mobilize the villages, the parishes, sub-counties, districts, and the entire nation to ensure that Nandala Mafabi becomes the next president of the Republic of Uganda. He will fix the broken down economy and stabilize the country in which the youth, women and men will enjoy as deserving citizens under a caring and responsive president. Fellow Ugandans, this is the time to join hands to vote Nandala Nathan Mafabi as our new president to fix the economy and put money in our pockets. Because the moment the economy is fixed, everyone will have money in their pockets. At this moment, I will request the party chairman, Honorable Jack Sabit, to officially come and hand over the instruments of power to our flag bearer, whom I will also request to step forward and walk on the red carpet because he's our Mgole for today, to come and receive this instrument. I'll request the party president to come and accompany the chairman on this podium as he hands over the instruments. I'll request my secretariat to prepare our flag, prepare our keys, prepare our manifesto, to allow the chairman to exercise his mandate. Chairman, please step forward. Party president, please step forward. The vice chairpersons and the deputy presidents, you will stand right behind me to witness on behalf of the areas that you represent this ceremony. May we stand up and receive the one and only flag bearer of the FPC, Nandala Mafabi. We are now officially handing over the flag. Initially, it was a flag bearer without the flag, the symbolic flag. Now we are handing over the flag. Mr. Chairman, please hand over the flag to our flag bearer. And I'll request him to receive it.
With your permission, allow me to hand over the flag to our candidate, who is going to lead us in this important journey to make sure that Uganda receives the change, and he will be a person in the chair of this country as the president of Uganda.
Nandala, one Uganda, one people, the flag bearer, oi! May I request the chairperson of the party to hand over the key to our flag bearer that is going to open all the different villages, sub-counties, parishes, sub-counties, districts, sub-regions and regions of this country for our flag bearer. May I request the chairperson to hand over the copy of the manifesto which has our program agenda. Like the saying goes, you should be known for what you stand for, not what you are against. Thank you. Who has our manifesto? The big one. We want it to be pronounced so much in the... Finally, I would like to request our candidate, as the rest of the leaders witness, to come and unveil his official poster for the campaign. Kindly step forward. Unveil your official poster, and this will be the official poster for the 2026-2031 presidential elections. Under the theme, fixing the economy, money in our pocket. Sign the poster and launch it officially. I will request now everyone to take their seats. Let everyone take their seats, including the flag bearer, and wait for the next instructions. Thank you. Khalifa, Honorable Khalifa.
Dancers. Just let's have Anita Root. Dancers. First. Dancers. Once more, also get ready. The owner of that song, please come first. Who's the owner? No, first. Songa. Thank you so much. Let's have the entertainment.
Nandala Mafabi, when the Mutasa Uganda, Kulirabana, Bana Uganda, India, Karamusa, Kulibaba Sabana, Garadina, Kulibaba Sabana, Kulibana, Bana Uganda, India, Karamusa.
Bye.
Uganda likulira amagana ebayireeta. Bwana ibabo mulinda kambuze ebayireeta. Uganda likulira amagana ebayireeta. Ebayireeta. Uganda likulira amagana ebayireeta. Ebayireeta. Uganda likulira amagana ebayireeta. Uganda ebayireeta. Uganda likulira amagana ebayireeta. Uganda ebayireeta. Ebayireeta. Uganda likulira amagana ebayireeta. Ebayireeta. Uganda likulira amagana ebayireeta. Uganda ebayireeta. Ebayireeta. Uganda likulira amagana ebayireeta. Munange Nandala Mafabi. Ebayireeta. Uganda likulira amagana ebayireeta. Uganda ebayireeta. Ebayireeta. Uganda likulira amagana ebayireeta.
Thank you so much. Entertainment, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Entertainment.
Thank you so much. The entertainment will be there. Order. Era Uganda ebayireeta. Thank you so much. Finally, I would like to request our now official flag bearer, the Right Honorable James Nandala Mafabi, to come and address the nation. Let us receive him with a song.
Ay, 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 ay. Vea. Kale mabuuza kino kitya muli mutya yemuviirira mutya omusajja munadiye pulo bannange ono ewaffe naki one Uganda one people Nandala naki tulumye naki
Thank you. I'm going to request that the president be left alone on the podium to address his country.
FDC oye!
Oye!
FDC oye!
Oye!
Jacksonville oye!
Oye!
Oye! One Uganda,
One people.
one people, one. Of course, like it is very hard to speak, especially when your big brothers have spoken. First and foremost, I want to welcome all of you here, and I want to state that my chairman, Jackson, whom I've known from my younger days, when I was still a civil servant. Thank you. My brother, Patrick Amariat, party president, whom I've known for over 20 years. Thank you. My brothers from other political parties, my brother Honorable Bill, Secretary General of UPC. That's the party we all began from. Unfortunately, on the way we left, but we are together. My son, Slander, Doctor, the Secretary General of BP. My brother, the Deputy Secretary General of GEMA. My young brother, the ED, Dr. Lawrence from IPOD. The vice chairs of the party, the deputy presidents of our party, all members of NEC, chairpersons of our districts, the chairperson of the Women League, the chairperson of the youth, the chairperson of the elderly, all of you in your respective capacities, because protocol is very complicated for me, which I've asked my younger brother Chikonyogo, my spokesperson, to teach me, but I think with time I will know. I want to recall that Jack Sabit, Honorable, who is the chairman of the FDC party, I knew him when I was still a civil servant in the Ministry of Finance. And I cannot miss my word and say he has been there, mentored me up to now. A few minutes I asked him a question. Have I answered the big question you have been putting forward? He said, you are about to answer it. So in that regard, I would ask Honorable Jack Sabit, for us to be able to answer the question he put forward many years ago, to lead the campaign bureau as our chair. I know there will be announcements here, but this shows that the person we should back on. Brothers and sisters, of course, all of you know I come from the mountains of the sun, where I was born to parents who are teachers and farmers. Today, I stand here humbled. Out of 45 million Ugandans, I am one of those you have chosen to be the president. And I want to ask you to forget everything. My size, my height, my English, forget about those. Those are not good. Judge me as your own. As you remember, God chose King David from the man, the last person who nobody loved in their family. You recall all of you the story? They brought the big ones. The prophet said, not that one. They brought the Torres until all of them were finished. The story of the Bible, a true story, and it's in the Quran. The sons of Jesse. Then they asked Jesse, is there any more? He said, I have something which is rearing sheep. And I'm sure you would not be able to look at it. And he said, bring that one. When they brought, the guy was dressed in rags, smelling sheep. And the prophet said, that is the chosen one by God. And all of you must agree with me that King David was being chosen after the people of Israel that asked God that you are very far, give us a king whom we serve every day. And indeed, God said, are you serious? He said, yes. Then he said, okay, I'll give you. That's then he gave them King Saul. And when he tormented them, God told them, you wanted your king. That is your what? King I gave you. Now when he was bringing David, he said, I brought my own king. King David was the most loved person before God. He committed a crime, but God forgave him. But he reigned the country, that is Israel, for how many years? For how many years? 40. For how many years? So the most loved person led the country for 40 years. We Muslims have our dua after how many days? 40 days. Jesus fasted for how many days? 40 days. The number of days of a thief, how many? 40. So 40 is a remarkable figure in the history of God. It is time. 40 years have reached. It's now time for you to make a decision whether to obey God or to commit sin. Of course, I've crossed paths with many of you, fellow Ugandans, men and women, youth, and the people of different backgrounds and tribes. Many, from school, from working, from business, from anything you can mention. So, but never in my life I ever imagined that people would laugh and scorn a day. Especially if the one who dies is considered to have been having power in our lives was never, and the death was in 1940. And this is only caused because of unbearable conditions and untold sufferings experienced by majority of our people in Uganda. Imagine 84 out of 100 are dependent. That means only 26 are the ones who are working for 84%. And those 26% wake up to demands of rent, to demands of food, demands of treatment, and the list is endless. A member of parliament every minute is called on to be told somebody's sick, somebody has no fees, somebody has no food, somebody is not able to live on his own, he has no house, and the member of parliament is the one who is looked after to be a solution, and he can or she can. This is the problem in our country. All of you will agree with me, in 1997, our debt was waived. It came to zero. And we declared highly indebted for our country. This was an opportunity for us to build our country. Unfortunately, it couldn't. As we speak, our debt is beyond 50% of the recommended gross domestic product. That means we had borrowed from which bank here, Stanbic, would have been declared bankrupt by now. In short, we're bankrupt and we're living in a dangerous situation. That's why poverty is an increase, no food on tables, unemployment is an increase, And this causes a big problem for our country. I come here to offer myself as the President of Uganda after deep reflection on our situation in Uganda. I have worked in Uganda. I have worked at international level. We have fixed economies for countries. We have provided ideas to our country, but it looks others are not ready to listen. The countries which have listened to my advice have done better. And that's why in many years here, we have heard everybody saying Nandala is the next governor bank of Uganda. Even themselves know that the best person to fix this country economically is only Nandala. Our youth are living in bad situations. Citizens are burdened with health bills because health services are not functioning. Schools, the people who go to school now are burdened with fees. The country is heavily taxed. The people of Uganda are heavily taxed. And they are left with nothing for themselves. And the tax which is taxed is mostly put to waste. All of you will agree there's a report of World Bank which has been, I think, confirmed by our GG that of our budget, 10 trillion is wasted in corruption. 10 trillion. When I was telling somebody that I am going, if made a president of this country, I'll put 100 million in every village. Somebody said, where will you get the money? I want to run mathematics with me. We have 70,000 villages, times 100 million, you get 7 trillion. If I plug corruption of 10 trillion, I'll put 70 trillion in a village, balance of 3 trillion will be available. I demonstrate experience in fighting corruption, and I can tell you, with all of you working together with me, this is possible. I come with conviction that together we can fix these challenges of our motherland, Uganda, and make it a better place for all of us to live. None of us applied to God to be born in Uganda. And since when Uganda is for all of us, we must enjoy Uganda, not for a few to enjoy Uganda. I come as a bridge to peacefully carry Ugandans from the current political, social, and economic hopelessness to a country that we can all be proud of. As FDC, we offer a social contract in this manifesto. The FDC under my leadership promises to provide jobs by investing in productive sectors, by filling vacancies in government offices, and we promise to put money in your pockets by advising cooperative unions, which will also create jobs. We shall need good infrastructure. We shall have a skilled and healthy human resource, solid security, and affordable electricity, among others. Your vote in 2026 elections is paramount. A vote for me is a vote for money in your pockets. It's a vote for employment. It's the one which will reduce the burden. It's the one which will fix the infrastructure. It's the one which will develop human development in this country. And your vote will guarantee a peaceful transition as one Uganda, one people. As you're aware, this is our fifth manifesto since the country's transition in multi-party politics. This manifesto has been written bearing in mind the global, regional, and national context. As guided by the Constitution of Uganda, we shall actively participate in international and regional forums that stand for peace, the well-being and the progress of humanity, and dealing with global challenges such as political, as well as Russia and Ukraine, among others. Within the East African region, FDC takes note of the tensions in the neighboring Democratic Republic of Congo and South Sudan. These tensions have caused influx of refugees and a curtailed bilateral business between the countries. Of course, at the national level, the country is faced with socio-economic and political challenges that must be addressed through the revival of our economy. Uganda has the highest tax regime, which is crippling businesses, creating unemployment in the youth, and the indebtedness, low productivity, and widening income inequality. The gap between the rich and the poor is so big. This must be addressed. Let the rich have a 100-inch TV. Let the poor have a 14-inch black and white. Let the rich have tiled houses. Let the poor have a mabati house. You have your Benz. Let him have a motorcycle or at least a bicycle. Of course, all this have led to land disputes, environmental degradation, poor infrastructure, low education, low quality education, and of course, the ailing health sector. The 2024 National Population and Housing Census put our population at 45.9 million. And of this, 50% are below 18 years of age. And the same report reveals that 84 out of 100 are dependents. This poses a high danger burden, and it has led to over 4 million youth unemployed, education of the youth being low and not being well trained. This, I promise, if elected the president, these economic hardships, these inequalities, which have resulted in resentment and anger by one tribe against another, or a region against another, will be history. Politically, almost all government institutions have grounded to a complete halt. Of course, political parties are also grappling with internal strife. The judiciary is burdened with case backlog and inefficiencies, and of course, our parliament, which is busy passing anti-people laws. The security forces, which is supposed to be for civilians, is busy taking sides with the ruling party. Of course, against this background, is the FDC has written this manifesto under the theme, fixing the economy, money in our pockets. FDC is convinced that once the economy of Uganda is fixed, this will lead to rebuilding the country. And I want to state that once people have jobs, they have money in their pockets. They will afford 2 meals, they will educate their children, they will afford basic family needs, and importantly, the country will have a wide tax base. Somebody will say, my villager can't pay tax. When you have money in your pocket and you buy sugar, this tax on that sugar of 18%. When you buy soap, you pay 18% VAT on that soap. When you drink beer, that's the worst, the tax is about 60%. So if you buy one beer, you're paying 60% in the form of taxes. So that shows if people have capacity to consume, then they will be paying indirect taxes, which means widening the tax. This country will no longer be burdened with indebtedness and the bitterness resulting from the world economic inequalities, which has led people feeling as if in Uganda their own country. FDC under my presidency will do everything in their means to make sure that the resources they will mobilize will put in the private sector so that our economy can resurrect. Given the radical reforms within the global aid system, the FDC government will be intentionally focused and frugal in the management of Uganda. I talked about transition. Before I make the policy shifts, I needed to make a comment on transition. All of you will agree with me. Uganda has failed to achieve a peaceful transition from one regime to another. Regimes have come to power forcefully and left the same way. The involvement of the military in politics started in 1966 with the invasion of the Rubiri and the subsequent exile of Kabaka Mutesa II. Thought our UPC government of Bota one, Central Uganda was seizing with anger, which is why when Idi Amin took power, that's on a coup, he was welcomed with jubilation. 50 years later, under the NRM regime, the same military invaded and killed the people in Obusinga, Wazulu, where even Obusinga Okabaka was under captive for 2 years. In all the 63 years of independence, One leader has come after another by atrocities against Ugandans, which have never stopped. It is now an opportunity for Ugandans to cause change without a gun. We cannot keep this country in pain. It needs a healing process. On this, I would like the country to massively come out and vote FDC for restoration of sanity. A vote for FDC is an opportunity to start a transition and end the era of governments that routinely use the tool of coercion to hold on power against the will of people. We want to use this election to break the tradition of getting and leading power through the military. Uganda is for all. It's the only country we have. Of course, this we shall lead setting up a truth-telling and a reconciliation commission. We don't come with any hatred. We come to build bridges, to destroy it, with prayer. We want to guarantee better Uganda for everybody. And work with faith-based and cultural leaders to end the breach and emphasize the importance of truthfulness, hard work, and forgiveness in the pursuit of a peaceful country. This manifesto will be given to all of you. It's a document which our people of Uganda hold us accountable as FDC, and I can tell you it is possible and we can make it. I want to thank my Deputy President, my sister Margaret, who summarizes the highlights of the pillars. Our manifesto is built on 5 pillars. And these pillars as follows, and this is our policy will be. Pillar 1, generating new employment opportunities. We shall deliver the following. Invest in agriculture by having a 10% budget in agriculture. Revive all the cooperative unions, which were 20. Have 20 processing factories in every region, 21. Build science. Have tractor in every sub-county. Have 10 colleges for coffee training. Give credit to women farm groups. We have identified about 10,000 groups, women groups. We have to work on the beach committees. Of course, of you know them at the fishing landing site, so that the fishermen and fishmongers and women can use them for their benefit and to have fish. Empower the youth and the women through fish farming and agriculture. We must have modern inland fish terminals. We're planning 50. Rehabilitate the coffee greeneries. My brother, you remember in the Congress, we had over 50, but we want to start with 53. Have the government ranches and the farms back. Have the meat processing plants, which were built and we have meat. Of course, we must compensate the people who lost their cattle in the areas of Teso, Lango, West Acholi, West Nile, even in Bukisu. Of course, our bank, the cooperative bank, must be restored, which has been on the shelf for long. Of course, recover assets for all cooperative unions. We must have a progressive tax regime which build local businesses. If a local businessman makes money, it stays in the economy. If a foreigner makes money, he takes it to his country. We must make sure local businessmen are supported, both in a better tax regime, being given better tax incentives, being availed credit, even at negative interest, like in India. We must talk about irrigation schemes. We passed money to build irrigation schemes in every constituency in this country. Money came, money eaten. Money came, money eaten. And the head of state does not talk about it. We will not agree on that. We must have drugs for animals. We must have fabric industries. You know it. We had ATM, we had liver spinning mill, we had Nightingale. Nobody's questioning. These are things which we're bringing people to have our own shops, our own bed sheets, jobs. Cheap and long-term financing for manufacturing plants, mining, and validation by companies in Uganda. Of course, royalties to the people where the minerals are got. If cement is in Tororo, people of Tororo must get their share. If minerals are in Karamoja, Karamojongos must get their share. We must stop this thing of saying we cannot wait for Karamoja to develop. Karamoja could have developed beyond, but people in power have made it under. I am a Karamojong. Of course, we must have fertilizer for our farmers, both in the coffee sector and the tea sector. We must clear all the seedling supplies, like for the tea and the coffee in the oil sector in Uganda. And this will go a long way to create employment. Under Pillar 2, we intend to gravel our roads, 24 roads, totaling to 1,577 kilometers. Tarmac standard within 5 years. The roads are in our manifesto, you will see them. Of course, you know Malava and that road from Malava to Kavale. Whoever has been to Malava and Abusia will confirm 70% of custom duties enter through Malava and Abusia. Are the roads okay? So how can you milk a cow which you are not feeding? Told you where the money funded is. We shall have to rehabilitate the 31 big bridges in this country. We'll have to rehabilitate the river and the swamp crossings. We're going to establish cable cars in the Rwenzori, that is Rwenzori Mountain, and the mountain river. You need the cable cars. Somebody will say that because you come from the mountain of Verigo, that's why you want a cable car. You need to come and see Mountain River. It's the best place in this country. Of course, we have to pave runways at Pakuba, Kidepo, Moroto, Mbarara, and Akanungu. We have to ensure the network is the best, so that the price also drops from $35 to $25 MBS per month. We must have high speed of internet in our secondary schools and the universities and health centers. We must have houses for government employees. Can you imagine a doctor in Mulago stays in Mukono? There's an emergency in the theater. You need to operate a lady delivery. By the time you drive from Mukono to Mulako, would that woman be safe? Yet, under the water government and the other one, Kitarte courts was meant for doctors, junior doctors. Kororo was for senior doctors. What happened? We shall make sure civil servants have and affordable. We shall ensure those elderly people of ours who are about 70 years are taken care of in accommodation and even being given some allowance. Our power should be less, cheaper to promote production, and we shall ensure power to the last person. We shall make sure there's running water in all our cities, municipalities, town councils, and health facilities. We have so many town councils, no water. We have some municipalities with no water. If it's there, in limited supply. And they say water is life, except if you stay in where I say. We shall have 4 regional military and police reform hospitals. We shall have 500 housing for military and police. We shall ensure there is free education for children of men and women in uniform up to university. We shall provide free medical care for citizens in public hospitals. Why should you go to the hospital and they say, here's a prescription, go and buy drugs? No. You should be treated in public hospitals. I want to assure you, if you vote me, medical tourism will end. Medical tourism will what? Nobody will go to Dubai, to India, to Turkey, to South Africa on public resources for treatment. We shall ensure those facilities are here. Of course, we've talked about compensation. Human development, we shall ensure all our primary schools have more classrooms, and we're planning 87,000 classrooms. And we shall ensure the salaries of teachers, both arts and science, are the same and high. Most developed countries, the salary of a teacher is more than the engineer or me an accountant. Why? Because I became an accountant through a what? But here in Uganda, if you went to a primary school or secondary school and asked the teacher, where is your ATM card? He will tell you it is with who? It's with who? And when the teacher is teaching 1 + 1 in the classroom, and he hears a motorcycle coming, you will see him running through the window because he thinks they have come to collect the money from him for the loan default. This is not acceptable for our teachers, for our civil servants who should provide services to this country. Of course, we shall have a feeding policy for our children in schools. Yes. And we're going to increase capitation grant for primary school from whatever it is, 200,000 people, and the secondary school, 500,000 per student. Now they will say, where's the money? I have a balance of 3 trillion. Like the corruption, I have a balance. What I'm raising here does not cost me even 1.5 trillion. I still have 1.5 trillion. Who provide free sanitary pads and towels all teenagers, girls in school. Of course, those towels will be tax-free. We shall make 200 public secondary schools, and these secondary schools must also have stadiums to promote games. Somebody was asking me, how do you build a stadium? If you went to Ghana, even the primary school has its own stadium. The school in Ghana has a stadium. We can organize a stadium in every district to take care of the sports of our country. If a Speaker of Parliament can build a stadium, what about government? Of course, we shall upgrade our football pitches. We shall have tax incentive and investment in sports and creative arts facilities. Of course, tax waivers for private schools with playgrounds. Private, they will have tax waivers. And even we shall give them credit to be able to build them. There will be 10 sports academies for all the sports. 10 sports academies. Why not train as sportsmen in sports? All our regional referral hospitals will be upgraded to the level of national hospitals. And our district hospitals will be upgraded to regional referral hospitals, the standard of that. We shall equip our rehabilitation centers for the support of the youth who are struggling with drugs and alcohol. I want to tell the country that the youth are taking drugs and alcohol not because they want it, it's because they have nothing to do. If you get the youth a job to go and work in the morning up to evening, what time will he have to take drugs? What time will he have to take alcohol? They are taking it because they have nothing. So we should create employment for them. Our hospitals will have ambulances, both air and the road, air and the road. We shall have trained and specialized personnel in these hospitals. And as I stated, they will have accommodation. And we hope to have a 10% budget in the health sector so that we are able to take care of that. Of course, we shall have insurance paid for by government, which is called National Health Insurance. Mr. Chairman, that was pillar number 3. Pillar number 4, which I want to summarize, and pillar number 5, so that we have time to do other things. We shall deliver, and this is a very contentious issue. Our parliament is too big. I think we need to review our parliament, where we should have one elected MP, woman, and one for men. Even in the current state, 2 times 154, is it 154? 141? 146. We are already over 292 people. Why should we have all that big parliament with where even you can't sit? I am very sympathetic to my younger brother Ekanya. I don't know where he's going to sit in the next parliament. But you will be there, we shall support you until you go there and find a way to sit. We are thinking our constitution should be proportional representation, which has been advocated by UPC and DP. And this is what we say. We agree with you. We should have proportional representation. And me, I will convince the parliament to restore the presidential term limit and the age limit. I will ensure the inspectorate of government, that's IGG, his or her powers can never be overridden by the president. Because if we're fighting corruption, you need to empower the IGG office, you need to empower the Auditor General's office, you need to empower the internal Auditor General's office, you need to empower the criminal investigation department of police, all those organizations and the civil society. And this will be one of my main focus with my colleagues in FDC to ensure that these ones have power so that we can tell the loss in the form of stealing public resources. We shall have our debt reduced drastically so that we leave the state where we're being declared bankrupt to a very positive country where everybody would love to come. We are going to restore state-owned enterprises which are very good for purpose of delivering services where government cannot, where the private sector cannot invest. And that's destroying parastatal capacity. We shall have special plans for each region. Each region has its own dynamics for purposes of development. Where they are behind, we make it more, give more resources for them to develop. Even the constitution of Uganda demands that they develop the country equally, but taking into consideration those which are less developed. That means we shall be following the constitution. We have a constitution which talks about regional governments. They have never been operationalized. I want to state, when you give me power, regional government will be operationalized and they will have the allocation of 60% of our budget. Now somebody will say, you budgeted 10% in agriculture, 10% in the health sector. That 60% which goes there will have a portion of 10% for agriculture, 10% for health, and agriculture is in the villages. And the villages are the one which form regional government. We'll have a judicial service commission which will really scrutinize judgments. Judicial has backlogs, but the judgments which are really delivered, and you see that even a P1 child will say that was wrongly delivered. Justice denied. Just what? We shall have timely investigations and action on them. All colonial rules and laws, like the one who preventive arrest, will be ended. Truth and reconciliation, I've talked about it. It will be set up and be dealt with. There will be dialogue between the government and the civil society. There is no reason why government cannot dialogue with the civil society. We shall fund Human Resources Commission with enough money to carry out investigation and even prosecute those who abuse human rights. And of course, as we talked about the budget of health, there will be a special portion allocated to deal with women's health. And there will be no one to violate a woman. And we have a lot of men who have violence against women, officers who have violence against women in offices. This is going to be history. Women must be respected and one of the good people. And I've talked about capital, and I can tell you there will be cheap capital for all Ugandans. I have special interest groups, that's Pillar 5. And Mr. Chairman, I will conclude on that. Just give me an opportunity to lead this country, and you will never regret. God be with you. God bless you. One Uganda, one people, one people.